The patriarch of the Israelites, Jacob, has died. For a massive empire, the death of a single foreign elder is barely a footnote. But for the Israelites living within its borders, this is an acute geopolitical crisis. This map of the Egyptian empire reveals a sprawling superpower, and right here, a single, isolated node representing the Israelite settlement. They are a micropopulation, entirely reliant on the goodwill of their host nation, and they have just lost their founding leader. The immediate problem is internal. Jacob's remaining sons realize the only thing protecting them is gone. Their brother Joseph controls the highest executive office in Egypt, and decades ago, these same brothers sold him into slavery. If Joseph uses the machinery of the Egyptian state to settle this old score, the retaliation would instantly destabilize their fragile community and erase their standing within the empire. Surviving a power vacuum of this magnitude leaves no room for personal grievances. Keeping this tiny group from tearing itself apart requires cold, hyper-pragmatic leadership. Joseph begins by securing his father's legacy through meticulous diplomatic statecraft. This timeline charts the initial protocol, a strict 40-day embalming period, filling up block by block as required by Egyptian physicians. But it doesn't stop at 40, it expands to 70 days. Joseph secures a massive national mourning period, aligning the grief of a foreign minority with the official rights of the superpower. With the mourning period complete, Joseph petitions Pharaoh's court directly. He negotiates a complex logistical contract to leave Egyptian borders, travel to the land of Canaan, the historical homeland of his ancestors, and bury his father in a specific pre-purchased family tomb. Moving an entire state entourage across the desert is a massive undertaking. Joseph executes it to publicly prove that the Israelites' ancestral oaths hold weight, even under the influence of their Egyptian hosts. By pulling off this diplomatic feat, Joseph broadcasts a clear message to both his anxious family and the Egyptian court. The Israelites are highly organized, legally protected, and culturally distinct. With the burial complete, the diplomatic shield drops. Joseph immediately turns his attention to the internal threat, the brothers' extreme paranoia. The brothers send a messenger begging for forgiveness, then arrive in person. They collapse before him, fully expecting the execution of violent historical justice. Instead of drawing a sword, Joseph implements a systemic political maneuver. He flatly refuses emotional vengeance, realizing that punishing his brothers would cripple their social structure. He tells them, "You thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good." This is an intentional rewriting of their shared trauma. He takes a history of kidnapping and betrayal and reframes it as a necessary, orchestrated strategy. He creates a new unifying mythos. The pain of the past was the required cost to save much people alive. The objective was collective survival all along. By neutralizing these internal grievances, Joseph locks in their stability. He guarantees food and shelter for their families, choosing the physical nourishment of his people over the luxury of revenge. With the present stabilized, Joseph pivots to the long term, the quiet, creeping threat of total cultural assimilation into Egyptian comfort. Take a look at this descending genealogical tree. Starting from Joseph at the top, it expands downward to show the timeline of his success. He lives to 110 years old, witnessing 3 distinct generations of his bloodline thrive in Egypt. On his deathbed, he initiates a deferred contract. He extracts a binding oath from the children of Israel. When the time finally comes to leave Egypt, whether that takes decades or centuries, they must carry his bones out with them. This oath functions as a permanent sociological failsafe. It embeds a physical reminder into their culture, ensuring that no matter how comfortable they grow in a foreign land, they will never forget their ultimate destination. The book of Genesis opens with the cosmic creation of light and life, but it ends with a stark physical reality, a single dead man placed in a coffin in Egypt. It is easy to read this closing scene as a descent into darkness. In reality, this coffin is a foundational cornerstone for a nation that is about to endure centuries of hardship. Joseph's legacy is built on honoring distinct roots, aggressively neutralizing present grievances, and demanding strict commitment to the future. Enduring legacy does not come from wielding power for personal validation. Instead, it is constructed through visionary pragmatism. If a society is going to outlast its founders, Its leaders find a way to take the unforgivable wounds of the past and turn them into the foundation of their survival.